again. This is where if the YouTube bot was still a thing, we could listen to theme music, but I think it's dead. So, welcome to Morf Radio. We are back after significant absence because I have a job, both in game and in real life. But we're here, and we're here to talk about what's going on in Orbis. And there's been some stuff that's been going on in Orbis. But let's get started by talking about our guests. Let's see, who do we have today? Wizel, say hello. Say
Hello.
where you're from.
Um,
Like in game, not in real life.
uh, 2IC for TKR.
Okay, that's our friend Wizel. Mr. Jordan, where you at?
Yeah, Jordan from Rose.
All right. James.
Hi, I'm James. I'm from the Immortals.
All right, and then we got Mr. Gaius Julius Caesar because I don't read chat, aka Tarroc.
I am Imperator Gaius Julius Caesar, not representing Blackwater, just as a normal member who was kidnapped. But I'm happy to be here.
Okay, yeah, kidnapping. Yep. All right.
I am Right Honorable. I am the Prime Minister of TCW, and I will be representing Mystery Inc.
Awesome. And last but most definitely not least, we have Mr. Left Behind.
One of the leaders, one of the leaders of Cataclysm, representing Block. I had to think about what my block's name was for a second there.
F's,
That's a
F's
good
in the
starting
chat.
point. Do you mind if we call you TikTok?
TikTok?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not a 14-year-old girl.
Because I've definitely referred to you guys on like my tiering chart as TikTok.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't
Whatever.
want to have to change it. No offense, Mr. Inc. is also Scooby Sphere on there. So those are just my unofficial names. But let's start off talking about. I honestly don't remember when the last show was. I think it was during the war, maybe, or right before the war started, the last war.
No, just before it ended.
Just before it ended. Okay, just before it ended. It's been a while. So I guess we can start talking about just the general where things stand now. Obviously, Clock Block / TikTok is the newest sphere that has kind of shaken up the scene. Lefty, do you want to just talk a little bit about what went into the formation of Clock Block and why you guys wanted to do your own thing?
We wanted to do our own thing for quite a while. It took us a lot longer to get organized than what we thought we would. And yeah, it took us a really long time because we probably traveled around to, I don't know, at least a dozen different alliances, asking them if, hey, do you guys want to do this? Would you be interested in this lineup? And a whole lot of people were just like, nope. So it wasn't what I expected it to be. I figured more people would be willing to branch out, lead the spears that they're in, take bigger roles in the game and all such. But a lot of people got comfortable where they were, which I don't blame them. We had a couple of different offers to do some interesting things, but ultimately we decided not to go that route. And Aurora and us, we started talking, and then we were just like, okay, well, let's just do this. And then about, I don't know, a couple of days before we were going to kick off doing our thing, Eclipse came around and was just like, hey, you know what? Actually, we will take you up on that offer, but here's the deal. So then we decided to all work together, and here we are. We came up with this random date, mostly so we could have a CB on everybody at all
I was
times.
about to say totally random. I'm sure there was no other intentions behind that, right, Lefty?
What do you mean? Oh, the date?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course, totally random.
I was about to say, you said it's random. I'm like, there's not a chance. I know you guys. I know you guys better than that.
Well, yeah, it's funny because the truth is, the name came about like I don't know, maybe 12 hours before we launched on what we were going to call our.
It sounds like when we were trying to pick a name for Hollywood.
Yeah. I'm a little mad that we went with Hollywood, to be honest, but whatever.
Wasn't my top choice.
None
You
of the
guys are
options.
welcome.
None of the options were good. I will just say
They weren't.
I blame Kev.
What were the options you suggested?
I mean, I don't think I had a say in that, but I
Kev
did
came up with the
all bad.
Kev's idea was Benny and the Jets.
I think TKR countered at the last minute with Valar Morgulis, but at that point it was already done with Hollywood, and so they said no,
Yeah.
which maybe is still sucky, but whatever. All right, so thanks, Lefty, for that. Let's just run through the panel and what do you guys think about Clock? You guys think it changes the dynamic? What do you think about the alliances? All that good stuff. We'll start randomly with um, Tarek. Very random. I
Yeah,
know.
indeed, very random. Well, like I've said at the beginning, just as a reminder in case anyone else joined, I used to be the VP of FA for the Syndicate. I'm currently not. I'm just a normal retired member, so I can't give you the opinion of the Syndicate as a whole. I can only speak for my own sad existence. I am personally not opposed to the existence of what are we calling it? Clock block instead of TikTok?
It's TikTok to me, but you can call it Clock Block.
Buddy, call it whatever you want, man.
I'm
You're
gonna
not
call
going
it.
to insult us.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll just call it TikTok because I used to listen to that song, much to my dismay. I'm personally not opposed to it. I've personally been of the mindset that I would like to see more blocks exist in the game. Feel like the game is the most interesting when there is a number of various blocks doing various things. I don't really like the idea of the game becoming stagnant with only 3 or 4 major blocks because it kind of becomes repetitive of that. And the I liked the fact that I didn't know about it because it made it more exciting. I think it will be interesting to see what direction Clock Block wants to go. Who the hell do I have? Who do I have blocked? Oh, that's Furwolf. Never mind. I don't need to unblock him. I think it's going to be interesting to see what direction Clock Block wants to go in terms of its policy, who it wants to become friends with, or if it wants to take a stance where it stands by itself and is kind of a I don't know fifth block with its own ideas. I personally like to see more people do something of that nature, and I don't know whose idea it was originally. I think Lefty did. I don't know if Lefty said he was one of the ones who was pushing for it. If so, I give props to Lefty for putting forth the idea, and I wish more people would do things of that nature. Because one of the things that makes this game enjoyable is the fact that people can do their own thing and express their own ideas. And I like the variability of the game. I think change is what makes this game fun. If it becomes stale and predictable, it will die off. And I've heard enough people say it's boring. So anything that keeps the game spicy and entertaining, I'm all for. So props to them for t- doing something that they want and that's going to make the game more exciting.
Okay. How about we hear from Wizel?
I mean, I think it's a good thing to get another player in the Orbis global stage. So it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out. We got 6 legit spheres now, so I mean that's only good for the game, rather than seeing more consolidation.
Okay. Jordan, how's it going, man?
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of the same mind here. I think everyone's kind of happy that there's more people spreading out and stuff. I definitely think it's a interesting sphere. It's an interesting group of people. I wouldn't necessarily have put them together, but it's yeah. I think it was really interesting to have it announced. I had no idea it was coming either, so I think it's good.
Okay. Let's go to James. James, what do you think?
First of all, allow me to say that I do have a hard time saying clock and not cock. So
That's fine.
I will admit to that. And it's a good thing, It's another sphere. It's a multi-sphere game. We like that. Somebody said that. It's very good. I mean, everybody's already, Tarroc talked for a really long time and said a lot of things there, so really hard to follow that up.
He's good, man. He's eloquent. We like it.
Really, it's nice to see another sphere. There's a lot of spheres now. It's pretty interesting. It makes for a good dynamic, I think.
I agree. Les, you last.
Okay, I'm gonna have a bit of the contrarian take. Well, I think diffusion of power is a good thing. In principle, I don't see how that's gonna work in practice here, because we still have, the majority of the game's power is concentrated among Hollywood, Blackwater, and most especially Rose. Between those three, breaking up the other, fiddling around with the smaller of the two blocks, making a third one out of those, I don't think is going to change the power dynamics all too much in the game. I certainly don't hold it against them. I just don't think it will have the sort of revolutionary effects that we seem to talk about every time people create new spheres of any reasonable size.
Part of that sphere did come from Hollywood.
I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying that I
Blackwater.
don't think it's really changed the diffusion of power all too much in the grand scheme of things. Again, I could very well be wrong here. It's an observation and a bit of a contrarian take.
Well, that's fine. Lefty, your mic back? Maybe? Nope, never mind.
Just to ask a really quick question, because I've seen it around a few places. Does anyone have like a listing of the various spheres and their score? I remember that used to be. I remember saw that floating around, and I think it was Vaughn. Yeah, I'm too lazy to go look for that.
Let's do some
Yeah.
tier charts, but not score. Sorry, let me get you another invite here. There you
Just
go.
curious to know what everything looks like right now in terms of actual score.
In practical terms, what we should be pushing for isn't just a gross increased number of blocks, it's an increased parity between blocks in terms of ability to make war, if you will. That's where politics actually becomes interesting.
That's fair. I mean, I will say, though, that Wizel's point is good in the fact that Clock Block, yeah, it did take a couple from Mistrink, but also Cataclysm was a couple Hollywood alliances. Eclipse was a major Blackwater player. It is taking from several blocks to make it. Lefty, you back? You mic? Maybe? No? Oh no. Now no one's talking.
Silence.
Awkward silence, yeah.
Well, Tarek, what do you think? Obviously, Eclipse was a major Blackwater player. Do you think? What do you think about what James is saying?
Honestly, I kind of spaced out for a second trying to find it in Vaughn. James, what exactly did you say? I apologize.
I mean, partially it was that I think James that taking from the fourth and fifth blocks doesn't really
Oh,
make as big of a difference as we think, and that the three main blocks are still the major players. I think, right?
That wasn't me. I think that was Morf or somebody else. All right,
That
right.
was Righty.
And then RH. It was RH. It was RH, not James. Yep. Sorry, James. Was right.
I think he's correct to an extent. I don't. I think right. I think Righty said. Why is someone posting my cob? I think Righty was the one who said we don't need exactly more. Oh, great! Someone keep me up to date with the Packer score. We don't need more blocks. The number of them isn't what is important. It's the quality of them. I feel like, and I could be entirely incorrect, and I often am. I feel like the game is still trying to recover in terms of the in terms of the number and quality of blocks that we had before NPOs last time. I think a lot of places, I think a lot of people and a lot of big players left back then. And I think it's been somewhat of a struggle to get back a sense of not not dynamics or whatever the term is, but I think he's right in that we need more quality blocks as opposed to a larger quantity. But to be fair, the only way you're gonna get more quantity blocks is if you have more of them to begin with. So I think it's possible.
I'm going to interrupt you there, and I just want to pose a question. An open question of how long are we going to blame everything on NPO? Like, at some point, we have to figure out how to just make things work on our own. It's been as Fearwolf had said, it's been a year and a half. We can't keep using NPO and IQ as a crutch for what is effectively crummy foreign policy decisions, at least in my view.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think, and I'm guilty of this as well at times. What I was trying to say initially was that although we can't keep blaming it on them,
and if anything, the power vacuum that was in effect from all of those people leaving should in fact create a greater diffusion of power rather than a greater concentration of it. But here we are, still blaming a larger concentration, at least among 3 blocks as opposed to 2. And with 3 other relatively larger players. And it seems that we're still kind of chasing our own tails on this. I don't think it's all NPO or BK's fault at this point. We have to stop blaming that and using it as a crutch and actually just work on the politics of it, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. Lefty, are you back yet?
As it became later known, Lefty has been shot.
Lefty, blink if you're here, if you're alive. Okay, maybe Lefty is dead. Okay, well, we will move on here for a moment. I do want to pose a question.
Real quick. I can see RH's point about things not really changing, maybe because the alliance is seen as, the establishment, Rose, TKR, and Syndicate haven't moved themselves. But I think with the way the game is, those alliances probably aren't going to change things because they're too set in their ways. So it's up to, the new alliances that come about to try and change the game mechanics because they don't have the same prejudices and they don't have the same thoughts and feelings and the same, really old relationships that cause bias when dealing with each other. And that's what you're seeing here. All these new blocks are led by new alliances. Cataclysm, we're new, compared to the other ones, at least. So I don't think you'll see change where it comes to the big ones, but unless, something drastic happens.
Of course, at that point, you could make the case that then at that point you're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. You're making it look good, but nothing fundamentally has changed.
I don't know that that's true because again, you're hoping that this game has been going on for a long time, so there's always got to be new blood coming in to support it and everything. I mean, how many people here have been playing for more than two or 3 years?
Not me.
Yeah, I've been around for 5.
Yeah, I mean, some people. Yeah. I do want to ask a question that I think comes to something that we're talking about. Is just it seems like a lot of people talk about how the big three, TKR, Rose, and Syndicate, are usually the movers and the shakers. And sometimes the other blocks can tend to be a little more wait and see. I don't know if passive is the right word, but wait and see. Do you guys think that that's the problem? Or do you guys think it's an equality thing, or is it a lack of push? Because there are definitely quality alliances in the other blocks, in my opinion, at least. But what do you think the issue is that sets the three apart from the other spheres?
The amount of power that they wield, just with their nations, the sizes. They hold combined a lot of upper tier strength, and generally people don't like to make moves without upper tier strength. And newer alliances, don't tend to be very well endowed when it comes to the upper tier.
Anyone else have a thought?
So actually, I agree with James here. It's not just the upper tier. Those big three also have the most strength in their blocks behind them. So it raises concerns in the minds of anyone who either who's part of a smaller block that, oh crap, if we do anything, we are opening ourselves up to problems down the road. So it's best to kind of wait and see, and then make your move based on one of those other three.
Sure. Give me a second here. I'm trying to figure out how to fix some of Lefty's mic problems here.
I think one of the reasons, and I don't know this is just this is just me shooting blindly. I believe at least one of the reasons there aren't a lot of there aren't a lot of movements from the big three blocks is because I feel like no one wants to be the first one to make a move and run the risk of weakening themselves and leaving themselves vulnerable.
Ooh.
Thank God. In this game, there is no real first mover advantage, so that's
Yeah, I mean, and if if you
Mechanically, there isn't, so that's a problem.
yeah, and if you make the first move and it comes back to bite you, one thing that has been said is in the larger alliances tend not to be very quick to move. And so if you make a move and you screw yourself over and you put yourself in a weak position, that's not going to be something you can fix with in a few days of action. That's going to put you back an extended period of time. And generally, I don't think it would be in the interest of the other two big blocks to go, all right, well, this block is weak. Let's leave them alone right now and let them get back to strength. So I think people would make moves if they have guarantees it would work. But it's just the way of the game that people don't want to make a move that comes back to bite them, especially when it's not easy to recover from.
Boys, you guys got to roll the dice at some point in your life. Like, you got to start taking some chances once in a while. Like, I understand, and yes, I understand exactly where James is coming from about the high tier thing, and I don't envy that because I do have a high tier here where I am now, and I understand about the struggles that can cause because of you don't have one. But we still have to think about how are we going to fight wars that benefit you, and how are you going to do it? And that's where we got to start thinking about. And RH, are you butthurt or what? Like, is that your problem?
It's just a statement of fact, my guy.
Well, I just
the
find
thing
it's a little. Like, I didn't. It's not like we stole anybody from you. We made the same offer to you guys too. You're talking about Cataclysm.
I would be angry at Aurora, but
Yeah, fair enough.
you guys
But
are
like
just doing your thing. We didn't expect to keep you beyond 3 months, so whatever.
No, we didn't expect to be there that long, and we are very grateful that you guys willing to work with us as well as you did. Like, it's a shame that the whole Camelot stuff happened the way it did, because to be honest, that sort of pooched you guys over a little bit, and I sort of felt bad because of it. But when we talked about adding more blocks, and you guys are talking about the big three, like, yes, the big three is a big problem, but that is because the rest of us are taking the chance to start moving the spotlight away from them. We're allowing, like, the syndicates, the roses, and stuff to dictate the politics of the game, when really, why don't we start dictating ourselves? Like, we're newer leaders, most of us are. So why are we allowing the past to dictate the future?
Because as it were, I can't. You can't argue with numbers. I can involve the spirit in the world.
though.
If I go and if I go and try to put a coalition together to roll Hollywood, I'm still going to get my behind kicked. It's just the fact of life.
But you can still form your coalition to roll Hollywood. Like, you just got to find able-bodied people. Like we talk about numbers. Look what happened through Guns N' Roses. Like, and you can say that was the well tier that done it all, but it wasn't too. It wasn't just the well tier. There was a whole lot of factors on why that ended up the way it did. And so we got to look upon ourselves, like, on how are we going to make this more interesting. Like, it's no good if all of us decide to sit back and hang out, like, because all we're doing is allowing the Rose and Hollywood and Blackwater to dictate what the game does. Like, I wouldn't feel bad if Oasis and Mystery teamed up to hit another block. I wouldn't feel bad about that at all. Or even if Mystery joined up, because I believe Mystery's the smallest block now, right?
Correct. Yes.
Am I? Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm not sure. I haven't. Yeah, sorry, the Johnsons.
We
I
are
forgot
small
about
but
them.
mighty, the Johnsons.
That's right, the most mighty Johnsons. But
It's
you know
all
what
about
I'm
the science,
saying?
it's how you use it.
That's yeah. Like, I don't think
Goddamn
anybody
right.
would blame you guys for working with other blocks. I don't think anybody would really blame another block for working with each other. Like, there's 6 of us now, so there could be some very interesting situations where I'm hoping that we can stay away from this dogpiling nonsense. I really would like to stay away from that, because I think that does more harm than good to the game. But I think there's some really interesting combinations that can work out the fight of war. Like, but we just got to put the effort in and do the political side of it. Heaven forbid we play politics in a political sim.
So the RH, you're talking about how, like, basically the future is just the past is just the future, but with the lights on, right? Is that what you're saying? Just rinse, recycle, repeat.
As the saying goes, the past doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme.
So I think just to add on, just because I think that is such a good thought, like how people people kind of, I don't want to say whine, but people have complaints on other alliances, and they're kind of pointing the finger, and instead maybe people should, and I'm not saying this from like a pedestal, because Lord knows, everyone has their own mistakes and stuff, but people should point their finger inward and think, what can I do to make things different, to make it the way I want? Now, maybe what you could do is complain, and maybe that's on purpose, and maybe that's for political reasons to put out a narrative. Now that makes sense, like that could be politics and etc. But like to point a finger without doing extra moves on it is just kind of like, I don't know, like you could just think of what else you can do instead of just saying Rose, Syndicate, TKR are the only ones making moves, etc., because right now we're at a weird dynamic of the game that I don't think we've been in before necessarily, because Quack willingly broke up, right? So that was a concern. There was a concern about high tier with Hollywood. Even that got split up more. So right now I feel like who posted the graph there? Tarroc posted the graph. Like, look at that. That's some even ass alliances and spheres for the most part. I mean, you have Whelps Fargo over there in the far right hand corner with Mystery Inc. But besides that, I mean, like, those are some solid blocks. I don't know. Just my thought. What's your thought on it, RH? Like, are you guys looking to?
Well, I think I just spoke at it more of a broader point of, like, I remember one of the first episodes I was on where we were talking about another block 4 week, and I said this exact same thing. Because what you want is not just number of blocks, it's the actual diffusion of power that follows it, in theory. Not, it's it's how, basically more parity between blocks, or at least ability to fight with each other without it being a complete stomp one way or the other. That's kind of what makes the politics more interesting, because now you actually have to play politics to...
But isn't that kind of what creating new blocks does? Because you literally have to work with other blocks now to take down, like, the bigger blocks, I don't know. I think you have to, like Lefty said, there's a bunch of new dynamics that you can play with to have a more creative fight, I guess.
Now, keep in mind, we have to be careful which blocks will sign up with other blocks to fight a war, because we cannot keep having these dog piles. Like, and you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. I've been a perpetrator of it. I've done it. I'm not going to sit here and fucking lie to you guys and tell you I had nothing to do with creating dog piles, because I played a hand in it. I will openly admit it. But I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I think it's silliness. Like, I watched the Blackwater Rose dogpile on Hollywood, and I don't like it. It's not because I'm butt buddies or sorry, Jesus, I forget I'm not at work. I forget that I'm on the radio. It's not that I'm so friendly with Hollywood, and the reason I felt like that it's because I thought that during Guns N' Roses, the reasoning why certain sections of Mystery Inc. and why Oasis got involved is because they said it's a dog pile on Rose, and then before that we had the dog pile on Duck Hunt, and I thought after Duck Hunt, when we said we weren't going to really do that so much anymore, we were going to try to even up the odds a little bit, that we were actually going to stay true to it, and then I got lazy and jaded, and I keep allowing my stuff to happen. And after meeting a bunch of people that said, you know what, this is horseshit, let's not do it anymore, that's why we branched out and we done our own thing. And it wasn't that, I'm not saying that that's why we left Hollywood exactly, because it's not. We had a lot of our own reasons that I've been over before, but...
like to avoid a war.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like, SRD's not wrong. We just, we're a bunch of bitches. What can I say?
You didn't want to get rolled with us? Man,
the truth is, I felt so dirty rolling with TKR that I had to leave, because it's just not my nature. Normally, I'm fighting TKR, not freaking on the same side. It's just wrong.
Wizel smells.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what happened. But like when it comes down to it, like I have no issue with blocks teaming up to hit other blocks as long as we're sensible about it. Let's not get too friggin' carried away here. Like I fully expect someone to eventually to come after us. I expect blocks to go after each other, and I understand the limitation of tiering because there are discrepancies and that we had to work through. But I don't think using the high tier, the whale tier, as an excuse of why you're going to sit back with your thumb in your bum doing nothing when there's other ways to win wars. Like you could choke out recruitment by hammering everything that's less than 20 cities and choking them out. Honestly, it takes a while. It does. And the stats will never be in your favor. But you can do it because I think it was Beerho. What the hell was his actual name? Used to be the leader of.
No, you get it right. It was Bureau. Go ahead.
Beerho? Okay. He had on a radio show, The Great Fire, or wherever he had one night, that he was talking about how wars are won and lost. Wars are won and lost when you force another alliance to realize that, hey, they can't grow, they can't do anything, so they have to submit. And that's not wrong. It's not just the stats. We get caught up in these stats and we tell ourselves that, oh, look at that. I got 3 billion word damage. That means fucking nothing, to tell you the truth. It really doesn't. It's about how quick you can pin down somebody else or how you can stop them from being the alliance that they are. Because the truth is, I am, as a leader, I am obligated to provide a fun experience for my alliance members. A fun experience isn't my low tier getting creamed the whole way through. Or it's not exactly my high tier kid. You know what I'm saying? We got to start thinking outside the box. We can't just look at straight numbers, because when we do that, then we're just going to sit here staring at each other, waiting for somebody to make the move.
I mean, as much as I enjoy people talking about creaming others and creaming in general,
Of course, the clock block representative started this talk.
no, what I was going to say with the stats part, though, I think, and someone said that's all the fossils care about with the stats. It's true. Some of the older people do care about that, and it makes sense because when you're forming these blocks, and if you've noticed, every 2 to 3 goals, there seems to be a shakeup, right? Like that's just kind of the way. I mean, granted, maybe things will change, but that's kind of just been the way it is. And when people are looking at tagging along with different alliances, what do they do? I mean, if you're FARC, you just take whatever you can get. But if you're like trying to actually build a block that's going to have some kind of sway or whatever, then like you look at performances. And how do you look at performances? Typically stats, right? I can understand why that's important, but I think you're right, Lefty. Like it's not necessarily maybe important for that war. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But maybe it's more important for later and how the environment shifts.
But is damage stats a good indicator on how efficient an alliance wars, or is it the amount of wars they declare? Because if you're an alliance that you're declaring wars, even though you're not winning them, then you are fighters. You want to fight. You may not do it the greatest way. You may not win the war, but at least you're keeping your head in there. Like there's some alliances, like look at Grumpy. Grumpy's always going to have these massive stats. That's because they're well tier. But are their war numbers as high as some other alliances? No. And it has to do with the fact that you got targets, blah, 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 blah. I get that. I understand. But I mean, like, it's not necessarily a good indicator to look at damage dealt. You got to look at the amount of wars that nations have fought, the willingness to keep their head into it, the morale that they have. Like, there's a whole lot of factors in what dictates a good warring alliance or not. And I think we get too caught up into the stat thing, and I really hope we get away from it. And I understand that maybe it's easy for me because I'm sitting on a throne or whatever, but it's just my opinion.
The average war per nation, the leader in that belongs to the Johnsons. So the Johnsons, by default, have the best fighting block.
Oh, Kev, I love and hate you so much. Anyways, do we want to carry on to something else?
Just because I know, like in TKR, yeah, we care. I mean, we look at the stats, but one of the stats we celebrate the most is wars declared. Just because people are fighting. Like even in the last war, wasn't very fun for a lot of people, but there were some Like even low-level guys that are doing 50, 60 wars.
70, I think we had a couple.
Yeah, I think we had a
And
couple of that.
One thing we do some of the times on our awards and looking at stats, we do per city, so that kind of equals it out, and you'll be able to see how a 3-city nation did compared to a 30-city nation. So
Lefty, you were saying something?
No, I was vaping, buddy. I'm refused to allow my mic to die now.
Okay.
So it's staying really close to my mouth because I'm frightened to death it's going to go away again.
Well, that's fine.
Well, it's really close to your mouth.
Kev, simmer down. Don't get too excited, okay?
Calm down.
The night is yet but a fetus.
Ooh. Songwriter, then.
This radio show we're not even 45 minutes in. We're already in the gutter.
Already in fetus mode.
well, that's because
I mean, then again, we were in the gutter as soon as you introduced yourself there, Lefty.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like 45 minutes is about on par for us. So we're doing all right. I'm trying to think. Some other things. It's been a good discussion. What do you guys think about? I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but I mean, the Camelot thing was something, so we don't have to really talk about that.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing that happened.
It was something that happened, but yeah.
Fucking stupid.
I was on vacation when that happened, and I got to see the text chat on my phone because Jarek he was in voice chat and he was DMing me the entire night, and because we just got to see Epi just completely lose his mind in real time. It was actually hilarious.
Yeah, it was that was weird.
I think there aren't a lot of things that unify a lot of the various blocks, but I think one of them, if any, is the fact that I think Epi is kind of universally despised. So, if anything, I'm glad that could bring Orbis together.
I'm genuinely amazed at how fast Epi managed to run a Camelot into the ground. That takes skill.
They were what, like top?
They were
7?
top 10.
Top 10, man.
They were in the top 10 when he took over, and what are they now? Like,
They
dropped out of the top 50, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's you gotta give it to him, man.
Yeah. I did steal a video in the process, so you know.
Yeah, they went to Camelot to Camel Little.
They're at 43 right now.
Boo.
Pew, 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 pew.
I know score isn't really the best metric, but they went from like 370,000 to 100,000, so they've plummeted from, I think, top 10, like someone said, down to 5th, down to 43, and lost like 75% of their score.
More impressively, did you see their score graph? It just was a straight vertical line. It just bam, gone.
Yeah, I didn't pay
That was
attention.
hilarious.
Did they fight well at least?
No.
No.
That's just what happens when you stage a coup and then half of the alliance leaves and then you get yourself rolled.
Half of your alliance leaves. You kick out all the government, and then you get yourself rolled. Like he genuinely just kicked out any gov that didn't agree with him. So like Hate B, Azazel, who else? Uriah, Arthur. Yeah, they all got kicked out.
Hey, that graph you posted, Jordan, that looks like a roller coaster. The first hill.
That's a beautiful ad. Beautiful ad. Okay. I did want to talk about what was another major thing? Oh, the Divine Phoenix Empire going from Rose to Blackwater. I thought that was an interesting move. Just in the
A lot of low tier alliances going over there.
well, a lot of low tier going to Blackwater. Any thoughts, people?
Yeah, so what's up with this rumor that I hear that even Waffle's heading over to Blackwater?
Oh, did you hear that too? That's fascinating.
Yeah, I heard. I honestly
Yeah,
heard that
I
Legion
heard
was
that
signing
too,
up.
man. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, did they sign it? Because I haven't checked it a lot. I don't check the friggin' game page, but have they actually signed up, or is this
No,
just
no, I
rumors?
believe they're still in their cancellation phase with Scoobyville.
Oh, okay.
Scooby Sphere, guys. Come on.
Oasis didn't
Who
snag
cares?
him up?
So actually, here's a
We
question.
no, that was never a thing. That was never happening. No, no.
I hear they serve spaghetti now, though.
Mom
No, they
spaghetti.
serve mostly they serve bullshit over there.
Ooh, strong
Wow.
words.
Ooh.
So who do we have that's going over the Blackwater? So we have
Where Waffle House is allegedly going.
yes.
Put air quotes around that allegedly.
Well, until it's in game, it's alleged, you know. So, Tarek, I know you're just a lowly member, but what's your thoughts? What's going on?
Yeah, I think that's also a little bit of bullshit too.
What? What bullshit? That I'm a normal member?
There's no such thing as a normal member when you've been a member for a long time.
I haven't been a member for. I'm less than a year.
Yeah,
That's right, because you came from was it
He was-
TCW, right?
Yeah.
I came from TCW after Sphinx lost his fucking mind, and I decided I wanted out of there.
Lost his mind insinuates that he had it to begin with.
Yeah,
Oof.
once I realized Sphinx had no
Oof.
mind.
I like
Anyway,
Sphinx. Full disclosure.
Yeah. I've been a member of TCW I was a member of TCW for about a year after NPL's last time, and I've been in TS for roughly a year now. So,
But so,
I mean, my opinion of it is gonna be lame because I'm not gonna go out on a limb, seeing as I'm not important and could be punished for being stupid, especially with Mr. Gray there in chat. But I mean, yeah. I'm of the mindset where I like, unsurprisingly, I like members joining Blackwater, especially with Eclipse leaving. I was, like I said earlier, I was glad to see Eclipse doing their own thing, but I was disappointed to see them go because I did have a number of friends over there that I liked being closely associated with. And yeah.
You could still be friends, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm friends with RH and a whole bunch of other people
Yeah, I'm
in
still
random
friends with.
alliances.
I'm friends with
and
folks. I don't mean to say I'm not friends with them. I just liked the working with them.
well, of course.
I'm a fan of seeing folks come over and growing the block because, well, it's one of the most fun parts of the game. To get cities.
I mean, it's a lot quicker if you can just grift off your alliance. You can ask Sphinx about that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lady, you and I know better than most. Please don't send me back to the PTS. Please don't send me back to
you gave me flashbacks. I get to do the same to you.
Don't do it to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I left. I had to. I'm a fan of I'm a much larger fan of the politics of the game as opposed to the actual combat. I don't want to get the label of someone who hides from wars, but
so hugger.
yeah, exactly. Yep, that's me.
Yep. You just brought this on yourself,
Yeah.
Tarek.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not gonna. Yeah, like I said, I can't really say anything that exciting because I'm not that exciting of a person. But I like the political moves of it, and I don't know if Waffle House is joining up. If they are, feel free to come on by. I'd be happy to work with folks. But I like seeing the game change. If it's less folks coming to Blackwater and more just changes in the game in general and make it exciting. That's my hot take. It's fun to see folks move around and leave their blocks and make decisions for themselves. And if that place they go happens to be Blackwater, I'm happy to work with them.
As long as upper tier nations aren't going to Hollywood, am I right?
Jesus Christ, let's not go there, please. Bing! Bing!
Richard
So-
consolidation again. I'm out.
We can, and then I'll just come back with, well, everything below 25 in our sphere will get wrecked. So
My question is, and I've asked this in various places, I'd be curious to get, because I think most folks here, besides James looking at the chat, I think everyone here has played the game longer than I have. What counts in the modern day Orbis as upper tier now? Because I remember it used to be, if you were C30, you were counted as a whale. But there are hundreds of people at C30. What do we call upper
according to
tier now?
SRG, C30 is mid tier.
Do you mean low tier?
Alright, low.
sense of what
I'll
makes
split
it
the difference. Low mid.
differ.
Low mid.
Yes. Like, in his eyes, they should be rating to buy more cities still. Like, God.
Yeah, that was a fun chat the other day with him.
Oh, he genuinely okay.
Oh, he legitimately believes it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought you were just joking. But okay. I mean, this tracks for SRD, but I just needed the confirmation.
Very on brand. It's not surprising.
Yeah, it tracks.
So, what other interesting rumors have we heard recently?
Oh, what have we heard?
Come on, guys. Start
I
spilling
heard
the beans.
Kev like spandex.
Well, that's a given. He's all about the jazzercise.
Only when Lefty's wearing it.
Yeah,
Room.
we do. We have a full alliance now. Meet my co-leader, ladies and gentlemen.
I heard TKR is the most.
I don't know
So
about that.
I actually, James, since you're here, I'm going to ask you a question. Does Oasis have fear that Clock Block is coming after you guys? Because I've received so many messages about that I'm sort of interested on if it's a legit thing or if it's people trying to stir pots.
Is Oasis on the clock?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice
That
one.
was great. Wow, very good, sir.
That was.
Very good.
Tarroc, you want to join us? We need
Yeah.
that zippy humor.
Ah, what the hell? Well, I can never come up with quick shit like that.
That was good.
No, we are not worried about that. I'm going to go with people stirring the pot because anybody can do whatever they want right now. Nobody's actually limited by any sort of non-aggression pact or anything. Anybody can hit anybody. Isn't it great?
Well, that's incorrect because there is a non-aggression pact, but not
Yeah.
between us. And I think that's
Okay,
where
who-
the whole spectrum is coming from.
Rose, Hollywood, Blackwater.
Just
Yes.
can't call each other.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that. For the record, I thought that was really weird because I felt like a lot of those people were in the big No More Nap group, and instead they went with a nap.
We didn't want it. Our thing pushed.
But no, I'm going to go with no because we're still just kind of looking at you like, oh, they're new. We like new things.
It would be really. Wow.
So,
I would love to do the mid blitz show. Lefty, you should help me out.
Yeah, but no.
James,
Hi.
how come TFP hasn't folded into the Immortals yet?
Because they're a sovereign entity, to quote a favorite word of a certain somebody.
Hmm.
And
TFP stabilized quite a bit from what I've seen. They got some.
they don't have any issues. They're,
Since like the Vice and the Nacho and all those Kaz and all those guys left?
Yeah, they all left.
look, there was a seismic shift for them, and they put their heads down and powered through. and the new people in charge are great. You know, Vel is a really nice guy, and there's still a few people left from previous. So it's not, you know, the relationship is still great. They're still doing fine. Still talk a lot.
TFP's still got some good people. I like them. Well, that's not just because Velny was my former mentee, but whatever.
I mean, if they ever do die, they will absolutely be merging into us because gobble gobble, get in my belly.
I think Kata is leading the league in Alliance's Burge now, so you might have some stiff competition.
I like to think.
The thing lately, is it just me, or have there been a lot of merges going on?
James, real quick.
Robert
I'd like to
5 micros.
James, I'd like to think that gobble gobble get into my belly is pillow talk.
Right. Oh.
Kev, my goodness, isn't Peavy here? Control yourself.
I'll have to use that line, buddy. It's a good one.
There has been a lot of merges recently, though, which has been interesting. I do think it's interesting to merge because it helps you get further quicker. And you could take two, mid-tier-ish alliances and make one macro. Like, Children of Light and E404 were both good alliances, but together they're top 6, top 7, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's kind of cheating, and it's like a cheap way to get, into like a.
That's exactly what it is.
It's a
Jesus
50%
Christ.
discount league merging.
I think it's just real cheap. It's a real cheap way of going
Yeah,
forward.
King in the merge over here.
But sometimes a cheap way to increase your scores can give you the momentum that you need to.
Literally makes you a whore.
You know what else is cheap?
Are you calling Lefty a whore?
Hey,
I am.
More specifically,
I just want you to get on the record and say that, James.
Well, I think Oasis has to be scared now. They just gave me a solid CB, boys.
Uh-oh.
Oh, behave yourself.
Yep. You know what else is cheap though? Water, and we can't live without that stuff. So,
Yeah.
To all of those who are thinking about a merge, yes, it's cheap, but it's also a lifesaver. Nay, it's a game changer. So, with that said, James, talk to TFP. Let's make this happen.
That would be number 1, right? If they merged.
Look, do you think that line would get it done?
It worked on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say some lines work.
No, look at the Cataclysm mergers. Like 404 and Children of Light. Is it a shocker that we merged together? No, because we were very close. With the streak coming into us, yeah, actually, that did shock me that was even an option. But again, I don't think our communities are that different, and they're very enjoyable people. And it's very fresh, and I look forward to working with a lot of these guys that I haven't worked with before because I've seen them talk and all this stuff. Yeah, I think mergers are great for the game, ever, because I am not a social butterfly. I don't know why I'm so social here, though. But
because you love us, Lefty.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I mean, that first half of the show, you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You were just all over the place.
Oh, damn.
Well, yeah, it's true. I can never close my mouth.
Hey, watch it, Buster. I got you. Watch it. Man, that's my friend.
That's my friend.
Okay. So, a couple of the quick hitter topics. Sorry, the stuff happened on TV. NAP ends in about 50
6 days
days.
before Christmas.
Month and a half.
December 18th, today's 28th. I'm bad at math. It's coming. December 18th. Do we think anything will happen before the nap ends, or do you guys feel like the game's just mostly just been chill till that's over?
I don't think so. Kind of feels like if there's a nap anywhere, possibly, just nothing's going to happen. And plus, maybe we don't see. The last time we didn't see a war happen right after the nap ended, and people kind of thought it might. So maybe we're moving away from that as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the Christmas War seems like a terrible, but also probable thing. But who knows?
If you declare on Christmas Day, you're an asshole.
Duly noted. But I think in the chat one person said 95% of the player base is studying for finals, and it's like
I
some
seem to remember
finals up until like the week before, the week before Christmas. Myself included. So it's kind of hard. It's something you don't want to start a war when you have to worry about. Also, studying for classes.
You're just giving ammunition to Hollywood right now because I think their median age is like 42. So,
Oh crap! Now they know when to hit me.
yeah.
Yeah, tell us when you're least available, and send us that under the wire.
I don't know anything about an official war, but I'm still praying for the day the Enterprise finally rises up against the Syndicate and the Great Green Civil War happens. I think that would be the most interesting thing of my Christmas break.
That'd be dope.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Could the Enterprise even hit Syndicate though?
I mean, if
Leon.
it's hard enough.
Hey, Leon, can you guys hit us? Get good.
Don't worry, Enterprise. We see your pain. We see you.
If you listen closely, Hollywood is paying Enterprise to grow them to hit us.
No, I'm just a lowly radio host.
Okay, okay.
Emphasis on lowly. I'm just kidding.
Slowly.
Well, I'm a lowly man. No power here.
Dude, speaking of radio host, Morf, can we get Vice back too? I mean, I'm not saying anything against you. I'm saying Vice did an awesome job with like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You guys remember that?
Yeah,
like,
Mike straight up big leagued. He was like,
"Yeah, dude,
I'm quitting this, and by the way, I'm going to Rose here. So see ya." But, okay, bye.
I'm not sure why that had to be like separate, but yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really enjoyable. Can you figure out how he did that and replicate that? Because that was super cool.
I can barely do this, man. But reason this is the first show. It's like September or August. I don't remember when. Yeah, we're hiring. More very good media is hiring. Anybody wants to do a show? Talk to Kev.
And then I'll redirect you to Morph.
I'll send you back to Kev, and then no one else.
Brilliant.
But hey, we're good at that.
That might be why you don't have staff.
Probably.
Now you're catching on, Jordan.
So Jordan, when is Rose going to war?
Ooh, good question.
Good chat.
Good question, indeed.
I think the answer to that question is when they get 4 other spheres to team up on one. That's when they're going to war next.
Pew!
Pew 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 pew.
Jesus.
Anyone want to make any predictions on maybe what the next war could look like? We don't have to do like specific blocks, but do you guys think it will be I know Lefty talked about a couple spheres teaming up. Do you think it'll be like 2 spheres on 1 or 2 spheres on 2, or will there be another dog pile, or
I
way too early to even think about anything? Thoughts?
I think I'm going to cut you off, RH, because I have spent half the show without a mic, and you talked enough. Sit down.
I'm already sitting. I never was not sitting.
It's guaranteed it's going to be a multi-spears teaming up, guaranteed. I'm not sure how it'll work, but it's just the way the game works. You will see more partnership of that happening. Like I said, it's a slippery slope, but it definitely will see at least 2 spears on a side. That's my prediction.
So wrong. So wrong. It's gonna be 3 spheres all fighting one another. 3-way war.
That would be so fucking cool.
That would be awesome. But then someone would come in and fourth party it.
I'm honestly surprised it took this long into the show for someone to talk about 3 ways.
Yeah, the people that would ruin it would probably be like Oasis and Mystery Inc. They'd come on and then on Rose's side.
The
sloppy seconds aren't always awful.
Oh, no.
the past is not the past is prologue, but not I don't know, whatever, you know.
Good job trying to be smart.
It's the past is just the future with the lights on. Is what you're going for there.
Future can be different. Okay. I mean, I think it'd be really cool if there was like a 3-on-3, like the whole game, but like even. I mean, I don't know how even it would get, but
3-on-3,
like a 3-on-3.
How would you do that?
Coming in as the deciding factor.
Ooh, always, baby, always. What it'd be like Hollywood. How would you do that? Hollywood and Mystery Inc. How would you do that? Oh, thank you for throwing that up. Man, that's rough. Maybe the bottom 3.
That's not entirely accurate anymore, though, either.
The bottom 3 versus the top 3.
Blackwater-ish, maybe.
Or Clock.
I kind of feel like Hollywood and Clock would have to be on separate sides.
Yeah.
Just because of the whales.
Steering.
Yeah.
I could see that. Like Oasis, Blackwater, Clock versus Hollywood Rose Mystery. That'd be interesting.
No, because I think Blackwater has too many. Blackwater and Oasis has a ton of nations, right? So I think that would outnumber them too much. So you would probably end up having to have Oasis, Clock, and either Rose or.
I mean, would Clock want to fight a war with us again, seeing as the largest member of Clock was Eclipse that chose to leave? Or
Would we want to fight a war against you or with you?
Again, seeing as you had, as most of the wars I think Eclipse fought was with the Syndicate. Maybe Eclipse wants to try its hand against the Syndicate. Maybe it's going to be Clock, Hollywood, and Oasis versus the other 3.
I still don't. Well, we were only hypothetically talking about the numbers and how we can make it even.
We were just trying to figure out what an even war would be.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We could.
I have a history degree. Don't talk to me about numbers. I'll cry.
Tarroc.
I don't think that's the comeback you expect to be there, Tarroc.
If Clock and Blackwater ever do make a coalition, the coalition name has to be Big Black Clock.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, doesn't Yoso have?
You did it to yourself.
I know.
Doesn't Yoso have a copyright on big black things?
Ooh, pardon?
Yoso, doesn't Yoso have a exclusive on that with the black color block?
Yeah. So that could be, maybe that's the CB. Who knows?
Please leave me alone. Let's what was last? Rose plus Mystery versus Oasis with Hollywood versus Block and Blackwater. And
Block. 3-way.
Like a 3-way? Ooh. That would be interesting.
That would be an interesting idea. I don't see how it would pan, but that's like there's so many more like
prearranged. Like, hey, let's just have a war.
Everyone start declaring on everyone else.
Yeah, so free for all.
Camelot's gonna come in and swoop us all up.
Mhm.
Ah,
It's-
you know what?
it's-
I'm willing to die on that cross, taking that chance.
Tarroc, that's a valid reason for you to leave.
There's like 7 minutes left. I think I'll give it into the 5-minute mark, then I'm gonna head.
Well, it's not gay if it's in a three-way, unless it is, and that's okay too. So I think a three-way war would be super interesting.
It would be, but it would have to be. Yeah,
It would be chaos.
it would be
It was
hilarious and fun chaos.
Ooh, chaos.
I think, to be fair, since Adam has left the game, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say any war the Syndicate fights has to be in space and or on the moon to remember the fallen legacy of Adam, since Adam did carry on Peterson's legacy of Snake on the moon.
So what you're saying is Blackwater is going to attack Clock.
It's gonna be a three-way on. It's gonna be a three-way on the moon.
That's all I'm hearing. You want to go after the space people, and there's 2 space alliances and Clock.
I think that's how stars are born. 3 ways on moons. I'm pretty sure. There's a couple books written about that.
What?
Are you talking about?
Can you point me towards these books?
I was about to say, how do you know this?
So I think it's in the Catholic band section of the Vatican Library.
Okay, I think
The 4th book in the Da Vinci Code.
unless anyone has any other topics they want to talk about, we can start wrapping.
You know, you really want to end it on a 3-way on the moon?
That's the perfect way to end it.
I mean,
White, so
that's kind
I'm
of a
white, so I'm
legendary way
gonna-
to end it in reality.
That's the best way to wrap up a return to having radio shows, right?
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
white, so once you guys start rapping, I'm gonna have to head out.
it's the big black clock with the 3-way on the moon. So, no, we did not discuss the 600 goon screenshot.
Please don't say the word goon.
I'm pretty sure.
The only good goons are the goons that are signed to TCW because those folks are awesome.
Wasn't there some investigative journalism that someone did that said the goons thing was
Yeah, it was fake.
not really as big of a deal as it was?
Yeah, it was fake news.
I think Jared can attest to the things that happened in that embassy, Whitey. Goons is not awesome. I'm still scared.
I'm impressed that somebody went through the effort to find that out.
Oh, they put way more effort in than I would have done. But hey, they sleep better at night knowing that Goons isn't coming back to kidnap their children.
All I know is if they did come back, it would only just turn into a farm for the rest of us to raid for our low tiers.
I was about to say.
And we're still at war with
We have
them.
no backup.
Alright, so
Is that
we all
why,
back was about 5 minutes, I'm leaving.
Recruited all the
Everybody.
local alliances to try to fight Goons.
Thank you for having me on the show. I have to go watch the Packers and have an anxiety attack.
Good luck, buddy.
See you, man.
See ya.
Maybe you should take something for the anxiety because I certainly will need to at this rate.
Why can we not just have a calm season without injuries?
Because it's not the Packers' way to
You're
not have
fucking
injuries.
6-1. Shut up.
Life is not bad for you guys right now. You are winning.
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yeah.
The only undefeated team left.
Not for only for 5 more minutes.
Imagine being 6-1 and complaining about something.
I know.
Ooh.
Fucking
Ooh.
first world problems.
Age
Alright.
of Empires 4 just came out today. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Any
It
other,
really? That's
Oh, it came out
amazing.
today.
any other
Yeah.
topics before we end the recording? That way, Soup can go to bed, and then we can keep bullshitting.
Let's pull that up on Steam right now.
It's on Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah, for free. Well, part of the subscription.
Okay. Thanks for coming, everyone. We're gonna
Play Age of Empires.
end the show here, and then people can come talk and chat if they want. Thanks for coming. We'll hopefully be back in less than 2 months for another show. Goodbye.
When we feel like it.
All right, Soup. If you're still awake, you can turn it off.
Soup fell asleep like an hour ago.
It's possible. Oh, no, he's here.
Oh, he's alive. Good.
All right,
Oh my god, it's 6